Hi students, moving on to dividing using large numbers and also equation for today's lesson. So turn to page 107. So before we do that, I want to remind you, whenever you have division between two numbers and if they are remainders. So there are three different ways that you can present your remainders. So the first possible way is, of course, putting remainders as a whole number. Okay, whatever is left over, you have put an R there and remainder 3. So remainder as a whole number. Bear in mind this is not an exact answer. So 470 divided by 5, again, I have another way to present it. So this way is to put fraction as the remainder. And in fact, this 95 and 3/5 is an exact answer. Okay, so, and last but not least, again, I can also introduce a decimal behind so that I can leave the final answer as a decimal. So this is exact answer with a decimal. So three different ways depending on what is required in the question. So in the exam or test, I will make sure I stated very clearly what kind of remainders you should present in your answer. Okay, for this question here, it requires you to leave the remainder as an exact fraction. So I'm giving you an example for 47,898 divided by 5. So 47 divided by 5 is 9, remainder 2. 28 divided by 5 is 5, remainder 3. 39 divided by 5 is 7, remainder 4. 48 divided by 5 is 9 with a remainder of 3. That's how you get 3/5. Okay, one more example. Let's look at J. 45,620 divided by 9. 45 divided by 9 is 5. 6 cannot be divided by 9, that's why it's 0. 62 divided by 9 is 6, and the remainder is 8. 88 divided by 9 is 9, and then remainder is 7. So it's 79 as the answer. Okay, use the same strategy to complete the rest of the question. Moving on, next part is how do we go about using mental strategies to divide by 9 and 10. So the strategy is whenever you divide by 9, okay, just divide by 10 because 10 is a nice number, right? So the first number you have to simplify first. So 1,157, I round it off to the nearest 10. That's how I get 1,160 divided by 10. So the estimate is about 116. Followed by, if I have 348.9 divided by 5, I round up the first number to the nearest 10. That's how I get 350. 350 divided by 10 times 2, because whatever, if you divide by 10, you have overly divided, isn't it? So you need to double the answer back. So you should get something like 70 as the answer. Okay, use the same strategy to help you with the rest of the question. Okay, for question 6 and 7, you are required to use a calculator, and you better, because these numbers are relatively big. Okay, so use a calculator to help you get the exact answer. Okay, moving on to page 121, solving equation. So first part, you are required to use Bidmer's rule. Remember Bidmer's? B stands for bracket, I stands for indices, D, M is division and multiplication, left to right, whichever comes first, solve them first, and then once division and multiplication signs are all resolved, then you look at addition and subtraction again from left to right. So let's look at the first one, 42 plus 5 times 9. So because of the rule, we have to multiply first. That's how I get 42 plus 45 and get 87. 123 plus 54 divided by 9. Again, Bidmer's rule, you got to divide. So 54 divided by 9. So 123 plus 6. That's how I get 129. Okay, moving on to part 6. So you have an equation. So you got to put the bracket somewhere in order to make sense, because we can't just blindly follow the Bidmer's rule, because for this equation, how can you make it equal? Okay, so if I follow the Bidmer's rule for this case, 7 times 4 is 28, 28 plus 6 is 34, won't give me 52. So what must I do instead to get 52? That's right, you will put a bracket around 6 plus 7, because 13 times 4 gives me 52. Okay, next question. Again, if I follow Bimmer's rule, I will get a decimal answer, isn't it? So how can I go about getting 7 as the answer? That's right, 6 plus 50, you bracket it together, 56 divided by 8, that's how I get 7. Okay, so put your brackets carefully in order to get the equation, to make sure the equation is correct. Got it? Part 7, you're supposed to ask a friend to resolve. Unfortunately, your friend is not next to you, isn't it? Not in the classroom. So what I've done is I've actually created some questions for you instead. So it's quite interesting questions. Okay, you may want to pause the video and then add these numbers onto your book. Okay, add this number onto your book. And then last but not least, question 8. You have a question there, and you got to find out whether Dana, Will, or Alan is stating correctly. So you got to choose one of them and explain why do you agree with the person. Okay. So that's all for today's lesson, guys. So if you have any issue with it, just drop me a note on Teams or direct message. Okay. See you next lesson. Bye bye.